It's working. Everything's going. We're good. Welcome to Monday Night Hudl, folks. Pre-recorded episode. It may be on a Friday, maybe on a Saturday, maybe a Sunday. The only way you can tell is by jumping in on recording. Okay, so today I've got with me Lee. I've got James and I've got Jack. And you guys are from Lincolnshire Bombers. Is that correct?
It is indeed.
Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed. How are we doing, boys? You okay?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good. Long week. Nice end to it. But yeah,
good. Okay, Jack, you are the OC, is that correct?
That is indeed.
No worries, mate. How long have you been doing coaching for, mate? How are you finding it? You can't say terrible, by the way.
So I've been involved in coaching, I'd say probably on and off 5 or 6 years total now. I'm really enjoying being with the Bombers. I came in probably towards the end of pre-season last year, helped with the offense, ended up taking over the play calling duties pretty early on, which was a great opportunity for me. And then to step into the full OC role this year, really enjoying it. It's always been like offensive side of the ball has always been my passion, even from when I started playing youth ball. And I've just gone from there. I'm probably a far better coach than I ever was a player, and it just keeps me involved, and I really enjoy it.
Okay. What position did you play when you played?
So I was a fullback for the Peterborough Saxons youth team. I sadly thought it'd be a great idea to tear all of my knee ligaments before my first season. So now I hold a clipboard and tell people what to do instead. But I mean, that started way back then. I didn't want to leave the boys and become a part of the group. It was just such a great place to be, such a great motivational thing for me to be a part of as well. I'd never had a lot of joy from team sports growing up. American football was the first time I felt like I found a place that I fit. And so I wanted to stay with the boys. I went down training sessions. I put cones out for the coaches. And the coaches that were there, they helped me learn about the game more. I put a lot of my time into learning about the game to help everybody else get better. And then after went off to uni, worked for a few years. The South Links Lightning started up down in my hometown, so got involved with them for a little bit, and then moved over to the Bombers. Well, like I say, properly last season.
Lee, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Saxons there. I mean, that was one of the first teams I applied to play for. Little did I realise that they actually folded the season before I was sending emails to nobody. So yeah, I mean, after that, I kind of then found the Cats. So there was. In an alternate universe, I would have been playing for the Saxons myself as well. But yeah, it's interesting you're saying about the Lynx Lightning. I think they didn't quite work out, did they? They were up in Bourne, if I remember right. Was that right?
Yes, indeed. That's correct. That's where I hail from myself. I think it was one of those where the first season was a bit of a perfect storm with it being a COVID year. We had a lot of people come in from other teams to get more reps, things like that. And the catchment area was just never perfect for it. And I think potentially the idea was take the catchment area from the Saxons. But I think ultimately that anyone that was playing at that point had gone to some of the more established outfits, like the Bombers, like you say, the Cats, teams in that area. But it was good to be a part of, to build that team up from the ground, and it was a good experience for me as a coach. Going through the adversity, going through the training sessions with 10 players there, and I'm now very proud to be a Bomber, and to be able to get to work with a great group of lads every Sunday is just the highlight of my week every week.
Good. I love that. Well, James, we can't leave you out, mate. So obviously, let us know what positions you play.
Primarily quarterback. I can be a receiver if needed, but
okay. And who's your team?
You're wearing them.
You just say that out loud, mate, because this is on a podcast and people can't see my glorious
It's the
top.
Broncos.
Broncos. Boom!
Had to bring it up.
Jack, who's your team, by the way?
I think you'll know about them because we may beat you in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah, you got the free pass because we had the QB injured and got your arse slapped in the...
Apparently,
by the way.
Apparently, we got a free pass all season due to the schedule.
No, we've spoke about it all season. I thought you were really good. Would you have been there if Bo Nix had been there? I don't think so, but I don't think the Broncos would have won either. I think the Seahawks were just a perfect team for the year. James, how did you get into football, mate? Give us the lowdown of your career, buddy.
So my interest started because my dad lived over in the States. His dad was in the RAF, based over the Air Force Academy.
Whereabouts in the States?
That was in Colorado. So
Ooh,
obviously he was in Boulder.
Boulder, yeah.
So he was obviously supporting the Broncos at that time. Brought that back home. I started getting into it properly about Super Bowl 50.
Okay. Same.
Hence why the Broncos as well. But and then it kind of spiraled. I switched sports because of injury and whatnot, and then lost interest in my old sport. And then I started at Brunel, started playing, tried to be a quarterback, ripped my arm to pieces, ended up just playing receiver instead. And then when I moved back home up here, contacted the Cats and got involved there. So that was that was my kind of start of the career, and then from there, just season by season moving on.
Brilliant. So, gents, feel free to let me know. I've asked. I will be asking every single team that comes on the show. What are the Bombers going to do this season? What's the aim? Like, so last season, you missed playoffs by literally just missed the playoffs. Obviously, it was a very tough division last season. Leicester Panthers, who arguably could hold their own in the Prem, were in a Div 2 league. What's the aims this season?
Well, I think our aims this season are the biggest aims for this season were to develop on where we felt we struggled last year. That was the biggest aim for us going into this sort of off season, if you like. My biggest focus was to develop on where I felt we struggled last season. And in my mind, if we could do that, then there's no reason why we can't be in the running in this division that we're in and be in a place to be like we mentioned, to have played 5 of our 8 games last year against teams that won their playoff games. It shows the strength of schedule that we faced, and we felt like we probably could have given ourselves a better showing in a couple of those games. And I feel if we correct where we struggled last year, then we're in a position where we feel like we can give anybody a run for their money. And so the aim really this year for me is obviously it's development on both the on-field and the understanding of the game, and to ultimately aim for those playoffs that we narrowly missed out on last year.
Yeah, I mean, for context for anyone listening, Leicester won the playoff game and the Gulag game. Lancashire Buccaneers won the playoff game and lost the Gulag game after it was delayed to help Sheffield in one way or another. Still not bitter about that. But no, I mean, obviously I played against you the first game. I didn't play the last game due to work commitments. I remember you having a really good D-end. He was very quick and nippy. And there was a really good level of performance from you. And I do think that Humber team last season, you'd have beat that Humber team in the playoffs. So, yeah, I would be inclined to agree and say you were in a very competitive league. Now, I know you've said to improve. Do you think the Bombers can make the playoffs this season?
I think so, yes.
Okay. James?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Lee?
I can say I think they're making the playoffs because I've seen some of the signings that they've just they've prepared. Obviously James James obviously joining the quarterback room there this year is one hell of a signing. He won't say that himself, but he's a hell of a QB.
Shut up, Lee.
his head has just gone like this.
He is the sort of QB that you want. You know, he's mobile. He's got a great arm. He's got good reads, and his accuracy is on point. So he is, you know, for that club. You know, he's played in the Prem. You know, I'm talking about him. He's sat right there, but you know, he is a fantastic player. And
Jack's going like, who is this guy? Like,
who's this guy?
He's not been in practice. Like, was he?
But also, I mean, you've got obviously Kev Cunningham coming over from the Knights as well. Now, for those who don't know who Kev Cunningham is, you'll probably soon find out because he is a beast. To see that man tackling in the open field is just glorious. A joy to watch.
Glorious.
He is a beast, and you know, I played alongside him when he was at the Cats, and you know, he was just a joy to watch. So you know, the signings that you guys have made has been fantastic, and you know, obviously we can talk about the teams who you're playing this year. So obviously you're going to be playing the Bucks, I believe. Is that correct? Yep. So you got the Bucks, the Humber, Warhawks, Darlington Steam, and Gatehead Senators. So interesting. Huh?
Did you say Gatehead or Gateshead?
Gateshead.
It sounded wrong.
Yeah. Sure, you don't mishap that one up. No, yeah. Gateshead.
I have a question for you, gents, because it's been a big topic. It's still getting talked about. We shared a post about it. What do you think of the Humber and Alpha merger? What do you think? You know, obviously, it's another club Brit Ball has lost. For every club we get, we seem to lose a club. What do you think is going wrong at the moment? I'm going to go to Jack first, and then James, if you want to give your version of events.
Well, I think ultimately it's great that the players, obviously, it's sad to see what happened with the Alphas. They'd come such a long way in such a short space of time, and I think a lot of clubs can aspire to achieve that level of success. I think on the other hand, it's great that the players have all managed to find somewhere to go, so they've not been left in the lurch and don't have anywhere to play football this year, because that's what it's the players that keep the sport going, and the players who pay their subs every year and buy their kit. You always want players to have a place to play. So it is whether they've gone over to Yorkshire or gone to Humber or wherever they may go. It's great that the players can keep playing. Obviously, it was quite a shock to see. I was there for the Alphas playoff game against the Knights. I watched that as a fully neutral spectator myself. Just to we flew down there after a training session to take in some of the action, and to see two teams that were at that level and competing for the chance to get to the Prem. For one of them, when you hear one of them's not about anymore, it is a bit of a surprise, to say the least, when I heard that news. From my point of view, it doesn't really change too much. We're going to prepare the same way that we would for any game, regardless of whichever talent they come in. We don't get to see, it's not the NFL, we don't get a transaction list of X, Y, and Z that's joined club X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So we're not going to prepare differently. We will watch the film that we get from their games. If we get some, we'll get film from previous games. We'll prepare the same way, and our focus is always going to be on making sure our boys do what we want them to do, going into any game as well. So yeah, it doesn't really change my focus too much. I think obviously that's a club that's got a lot of new talent coming in. I'm sure they're going to be thrilled with that, and they're going to prepare and go on with those new talent in mind as well. But like you mentioned about, we've brought in a lot of players ourselves, not just the transfers, the rookies as well. I mean, Kev was one that was mentioned. It's fantastic for me to be able to work with Kev again. Worked with him at the Lightning, and also was on his coaching staff with him with the Peterborough Royals as well for a little bit. So I've known Kev for a few years, and it's great to have players of his caliber, players like James and Dave Grieve coming in as well over from the Caesars, as well as all the rookies. And it's everybody that's come in that's put us in the position where we are now, and it's a position where, going back to what I said, I genuinely believe that we will make the playoffs this year.
Good. FYI, part of me does believe you. I think you'll do really well. I will go to James in a moment. I will say this: it's become a bit of a trend in the last few years for Brit Ball teams to announce what signings they've made. I've seen a lot of players announcing alpha players, so it'll be interesting to see how many of them have said, "Yeah, I'll drop to Div 2," or they'll go to someone closer, like Yorkshire Rams. I know they've picked up a fair few players. It's an interesting one because someone messaged me saying that's not very fair, and I'm like, I'm not bothered. I really don't care. I have a lot of love for the Alphas. Warwick, who was the previous coach there, he's a cracking guy, and it is sad to see. I do think there's a few factors. The cost. No one mentions the cost of living crisis. Everything's gone up apart from people's pay, so that's going to be a huge factor to it. It isn't a cheap sport to play. A decent lid's £300-400. But James, I want to go to you. What were your thoughts on it, mate? What do you think is the reason we're losing teams in Brickball?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a weird fit. It's been a crazy year.
Yes,
crazy year. I think it's been. It was weird being on the other side of that loss against the Alphas, being on the Knights last year. Kind of thinking that, we were in contention with that. It ran away from us. They were going up to the Prem. It was like fair play. Okay, like can't wait to see this, next year, and then suddenly gone. I don't know whether there should be some sort of kind of infrastructure ruling in place where you need to be able to hit certain boundaries or certain, financial, templates or whatever you need to use. But there just seems to be this lack of kind of infrastructure that we can actually reach to Prem, and then, what does it take to be in Prem, I think, is what we need to know a clearer way of doing. So if that's something you can work towards, you can at least have those boundaries to work towards. And I think that's what we're struggling with at the minute, is teams just aren't prepared enough to go up to Prem.
The thing is, I mean, we the Cambridgeshire Cats, we played them as a pre-season game last year, and we went all the way up to Scunthorpe to play them, and they looked like a really good outfit. They had the numbers, they had the coaching staff, everything looked pretty much amazing. And I'm friends with Lloyd, who is an ex-Cat as well, and he just mentioned it was a perfect storm. They had just enough of members who were sort of retiring, coming to the end of their playing season. Their head coach decided that he'd reached his ceiling with the Alphas and moved on. Their OC had to step down as the OC, and it's just everything seemed to be sort of falling into place where everything just went wrong all at the same time. Now, the Cats in that preseason game, we got our backsides handed to us. We had a pretty bad off season last year. I can say that now because we were well and truly past that. But our recruitment was terrible. We were we failed to recruit successfully. We were turning up to games with the minimum number of people required to play a game. When you're heading down to people like the London Warriors with 22 people on your roster, it's
chance. There's no chance.
Exactly. And it was the only thing that kept that club going was the sheer grit and determination of the backroom staff, the coaches, the players, to finish off the season. And we got through it. We didn't get relegated. We managed to stay in the Prem. And kudos to us. We've had a really good recruitment this year. So we've had some players. and it's been great. And I think it's really hard to tell from season to season how a team will have peaks and troughs.
I'll tell you. Sorry, I'll tell you what's also really hard is to see. It is always impossible to see how a team operates unless you are in it. There's been so many times where I've seen like a team's social media, for example, be like spot on. You think that's the place to be. You go there, it's like, what? Like it's completely different.
I agree with you. So first impressions do go quite a lot, and social media is a big first impression. I didn't see any stuff from Alphas. So when Warwick's left, obviously people haven't been able to do the work he was doing, and I know he was doing a hell of a lot of work. It is mad because it's the people in charge. I think that's when clubs fold, is maybe when not necessarily the right person is in charge. Someone who's going to motivate a team, motivate your staff, motivate the volunteers. Without the volunteers, there's no club. Without the staff, there's no club. Without the players, everyone needs to work in unison. I have a question for all three of you, okay? Because it's been spoken about quite a lot. Should clubs have a player cap? So I'm going to go to Lee first, because there's clubs. I'm aware of clubs that have got over 100 plus players registered, most of which won't get game time, but they'll be able to get trained. They'll be able to train with the first team squad. They'll be able to gain that experience. Do you think there should be a player cap?
Yes, I think there should be. There is one in the NFL, and I think there should be one in Britball. Whether it's 53 players like it is in the NFL. I think there definitely should be. Everybody wants to be on that elite team. Everybody wants to be, if they're close enough to Manchester, they want to be on the Titans. If they're close enough to London, they want to be on the Warriors. They want that taste of success. Now, me personally, I'm an underdog. I'm always been an underdog. I'd rather be with a team and have that Cinderella story where you can be a part of a team that gets promoted, finishes third in the Premiership, like we did a few years back. That they're the success stories that make you a person, and to feel proud that you're a part of that club. We had a lot of transfers out that season. The season prior to us almost bellying out last year. And some of them went to the big clubs. We did have two players who transferred to the Warriors, from Cambridge to London. It's a 70-mile trip all the way down to Greenwich. And these guys took that opportunity to go down and play. Did they get game time? No. They, one of them ended up as a third string running back and only really made an appearance when the Warriors were 50 points up on a team. Hence he's actually come back to the Cats this year because he's realised that it's not all sunshine and rainbows when a team is like that. So yes, I think there should be caps. I think there should be a minimum and a maximum. We seem to yap on about the minimum but never really talk about why, if there should be a maximum. So yes, for me, I think there is. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of from two perspectives because I do agree that, like, obviously, if you have a cap, players are always who want to be in Prem or win a ring or anything like that. They want to go to that team for a reason. If there's a cap, it will motivate them to go to a team, slightly less strong, but still try and win it. Like it creates demand, and in any industry, that's good. But I also, for me, like when I was at the Cats, purely the only reason I left was to go and be a better quarterback and get coaching. And I was driving almost 2 hours to Nick's just to get coaching.
Yeah, I agree on that one, mate. My closest team is most probably Merseyside Nighthawks and Chester Romans. I drive an hour to Lancashire Buccaneers because I'm sold on the project. I'm sold on the culture. I'm sold on many things. So I agree. And look, that's not to slag them clubs off. It's just it's not for me. So
and that was it for me. I wanted to be better at my position, and it was whoever it may have been Nick's, it may have been another team, it may have been a Div 2 team, whoever had the best quarterback coach I was going to is what I was convinced. But I do agree that there are too many ring chasers. Just going to the core teams and hoping, and for sometimes it doesn't even work out. They don't even get the rings, but they've just sat on a team for a year for no reason. So you're not actually developing those players either. So yeah, I think how they do it, I don't know. Would it be on kind of distance? Would it be on you need to find parameters. What it would be first come first serve. Obviously, teams are going to be up and down in terms of level, but it would be very interesting to see.
When I used to play football for junior age, you were allowed 16 players, and I'm talking a long time ago. I'm very old, and they didn't just hand out, sign that you're joining us as soon as you turned up. You had to in your spot. So it is an interesting one because it would promote for me more players not turning up in March to start in April. You're there from the get-go. You're there for the full project. Charity fundraisers that you have for the club with your sponsors. You're there for that stuff like that.
I think expectations of players needs to be higher. I think you need to find out right from the get-go why they're playing. Because if you have a whole Div 1 team just wanting to get their last season in, and then you end up wiping the league and going Prem, you got no one coming back. Like, that's a good reason to start finding out why, and then you can start to select who you need for your roster. I think that's a good start. But
Jack, I've got you off, mate. I do apologise. We haven't got much time left on the stream. Jack, I want to just get your thing. Should we have a player cap?
I agree with the idea. I think you just got to be careful how you do it. My biggest concern would be you get into the week before your first game of the season and you cut, let's say you got 70 players, you cut 20 of them. They're then going to find a new team but have missed the whole off season with that team, and then they don't get the chance to step in, or you push the players that have, because it's like, oh, these boys have just joined from a Prem outfit. Now we're going to push out all the boys that put all the hard work in. So I agree there should be a cap for the reasons that's already been discussed. I just think if something like that was to be implemented, it'd have to be done very carefully and with certain cut-off points.
Hey, you want to know the best wife award? It's my wife. She's just brought me a chippy. Winner, winner, boys. Winner, winner. Oh, what have we got? Chips and gravy. Chips and gravy. Winner, winner.
Such a northern thing, that chips and gravy.
Okay, so look, we'll come at the end of this. Gents, I want to thank you for coming on. Would you be interested in coming on when we do our live streams of this?
100%.
100%.
Who's your first game against?
Ooh, great question.
Great question. I will find out for you very, very quickly.
Talking pre-season or regular?
Regular. Do you know what? It's my pet hate when people announce pre-season results. I think go on week in your life. Gateshead Senators, are you going to win?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Well, folks, thank you very much for Jack and for James coming on. It's really good to see you guys as a team progressing and moving forward. You're not a team that I'm worried about in terms of how you're going to perform. I think you're going to be really good. It's going to be really interesting to get on the field with you. I do apologise for how aggressive I am in the game. I'm joking. I'm not. I'm a softie. We are going to be publishing this every Monday night. This is Monday Night Hudl. It's going to be pre-recorded up until our first pre-season week, which we can't wait for. And as we do every single week, I've been Matteo.
I've been Lee.
I've been James.
And I've been Jack.
We did it! Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, folks, for coming along. We will see you all soon. Bombers, good luck in all of your games this season, apart from when you play the Lancashire Buccaneers, where I hope you get spanked. Folks, have a good one. Thank you very much. We will see you next week.
Thank you.